There are many prophecies hanging on your life. I'm a pastor. I've seen many people come to me before. They said every meeting they go to, a prophet must call them out and prophesy. Prophecies are fulfilled according to the time schedule that the Lord has apportioned to them. Hebrews 7:25. When he ascended to the eternal courts of heaven, one thing he was doing and is doing for us is to intercede for us. See, this is why we pray, we fast, we keep all the consecration requirement of ministry. But even in areas where we are deficient, suddenly you'll find out that there is a help that grace affords us. That even ourselves know that this is not a product of our labor. Fellowship is deeper than what you think. A man can pray fast and he thinks he's deep with God. But when they start assessing him, they will assess him first from foundational truths. Do you? Philippians 3:10. See Paul's prayer. The type of prayer that I'm sure you have never prayed since you became a Christian. He said that I may know him. This is a man praying. And the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, that I may be made conformable unto his death. Have you prayed like this since you became a Christian? Have you prayed to suffer with Christ and for Christ since you became a Christian? Because we were taught wrongly. The Christianity we were taught is the Christianity of using God to meet our needs. That's why our miracle services are packed, but our vigils are scanty. Because anyone that does not translate to immediate gratification, we are not there. And this is why many heavy matters of the kingdom is withdrawn from many and from many generations. Because only those who can accept his suffering can bear great mandates and great ordinations. Because great ordinations come with great trials and great persecution. If you are not trained to withstand his suffering and persecutions for Christ, you cannot bear great mandates. Acts 5:41. It said, when the apostles were flogged, it said they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. People are celebrating, not because they received the miracle. So they were giving testimony in service. And what is the testimony? Me too, I have joined those who are privileged to suffer on the behalf of Jesus. What did they know? Not in this generation. The least inconvenience, everybody is gone. Because we are looking only for the God that meets our needs. Paul training his son Timothy. 2 Timothy 2:11 and 12. It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we should live with him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will deny us. This is how they train people in the early church to embrace sufferings for Jesus Christ. In Hebrews 13:13, the Bible says, let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. Bearing his reproach. Jesus himself teaching in Matthew 5:11, he said, blessed are you when men revile you and you are persecuted for all manner of evil falsely for my name's sake. 2 Corinthians 12:10, see Paul. Paul said, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproach, in necessity, in persecution, in distress for Christ's sake. For when I'm weak, he said, then I am strong. We have refused the suffering of Jesus as a part of the gospel. That's why we are raising criminals and crooks now as ministers of God. And that's why the fear of God is no longer in our generation. Because 90% of what people do now in the name of God is for their belly. Oh, we need to help the poor. Give, let's help the poor. It's the lifestyle of the pastor that is being sponsored. The moment giving is done, pastor is going on holiday. He's feeling backache. So they advise him to take a holiday. You have not worked. Which holiday are you taking? They asked me, how do you rest? He stood up and began to speak in tongues. Manda harakua. He said, therein is a rest. What is that rest? With a stammering tongue. That is how he will speak to these people. That's the rest that is left for the believer. Today, in 1 year, we take 7 holidays. It's our lust for pleasure that we use Christianity and the precious kingdom resources to finance. A preacher appears to preach. What he's wearing is worth $1 million. We are competing with the stars of the world to wear all the designer watches and all the designer shoes. I'm not saying don't look good, don't be excellent. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying kingdom resources is not to sponsor the lifestyle of preachers. And we have taught that error to a generation. So people can't bear the sufferings of Christ. And this is why we are not drawing close to God. This is why we are not mortifying the flesh. Because there is something suffering does as touching mortification of the flesh. In 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 1, it says, him that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sinning. So the reason you find a church that is full of carnality is because we have not taught them hardship for the name of Christ. And that's why church is almost becoming a secular gathering.